Welcome, friends. James Corbett here with this week's edition of Propaganda Watch. And as I parenthetically note, it's been almost a year since I started this Propaganda Watch series, and in that time we have looked at many different examples of in-your-face propaganda, not so in-your-face propaganda. We've examined different aspects of propaganda, the possibility of positive propaganda. We've examined the subject of propaganda from many different angles and using many different specific examples, but I don't think we've seen an example quite like the one that we're going to look at this week, which is so in your face and so I don't even know how to describe it. So let's get into it. The subject of today's propaganda piece revolves around a favorite subject of mine, something that I love to talk about, gag, and that is Alexa. Of course, it is just one of a vast series of items that are being released that are increasingly being hooked up to the Internet of Things, and that is constantly spying on what you're saying and sending that off to who knows where. But you'll know that I've talked about it before, perhaps most poignantly and to the point in Don't Be an Idiot, Get Rid of Alexa, which, come to think of it, may not be the best way to title that, because obviously the people who are idiot enough to not only invite such a spying Big Brother device as Alexa into their home, but actually to pay Amazon for the privilege of having installing a spying device in their own home probably aren't listening to the corporate report and probably aren't going to heed my advice. But nevertheless, it stands. Don't be an idiot. Get rid of Alexa. And for all of those non-idiots who didn't get Alexa in the first place, thumbs up. Here's another reason why you don't want to be inviting Big Brother into your home. This one coming from ScienceAlert.com. Newly released Amazon patent shows just how much creepier Alexa can get. In which they note a newly revealed patent application filed by Amazon is raising privacy concerns over an envisaged upgrade to the company's smart speaker systems. This change would mean that, by default, the devices end up listening to and recording everything you say in their presence. Now, as you'll know from my previous coverage, including Don't Be an Idiot, Get Rid of Alexa, Alexa, of course, is listening to everything you're saying and can be woken up by mishearing what it believes to be the wake word, Alexa, no matter how far off base that may be, and then recording things and doing things like sending that data off and recording your conversations and sending it as a message to colleagues or distant relatives or people that you've associated with once or twice and happen to have in your contacts. A case in point in that previous cited video. But anyway, we know this is already happening, but it's about to get even worse if Amazon gets their way, and this is all revolving around a patent application filed with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. I will include a direct link to the unimaginatively named pre-wake word speech processing patent application, in which Amazon lays out the case for this and what it entails. Essentially, instead of having Alexa listen for the wake word Alexa before it starts recording what you are saying, or listening for something that sounds like Alexa, it will be listening all the time, continuously recording 10 to 30 seconds of buffer, so that if it hears the wake word, it can then go backwards in time and listen to what you were saying before the wake word in order to help process your requests. So the point that they're making in the patent application, and here as they elaborate in the ScienceAlert.com article, is that in normal speech, you don't necessarily say something like, Alexa, play this song for me. You might say, play this song for me, Alexa. But as it's currently engineered, supposedly, Alexa wouldn't be able to process that command because the wake word comes at the end of the sentence. So this will solve those problems by recording everything you're saying continuously, keeping a 10 to 30 second buffer of that memory, and then using that to try to figure out what it is that you're asking Alexa. That's at least the way that this is being sold. The ScienceAlert.com article does get into some of the privacy implications of having a device that records you all the time, and whether we can ever really trust the 10 to 30 seconds of buffer memory, and then it's gone forever. Honest. We wouldn't keep it, guys. Assuming you could trust that as far as you can throw it. Anyway, it is a creepier development, and it is just a patent application at this point, but one can well imagine that they will be incorporating this, at least officially, into their products in the future, assuming it isn't here already. So that being what it is, that all comes in the context of everyone understanding that inviting Big Brother into your home is a stupid thing to do, right? Well, wrong. Of course there are people who will defend this, and will not only say that this isn't something you should worry, but that you should actually embrace it. But they don't seem to have much of an argument as to why you should embrace this technology. So for today's Propaganda Watch, we're going to dissect this particular op-ed from Bloomberg Opinion contributor Stephen L. Carter. The future will be recorded on your smart speaker. And the subhead for this remarkable op-ed is, "We should welcome Amazon's plans for Alexa to listen to more of what we say." What? I, for one, welcome our new robot overlords. Unbelievable. Well, let's dig into it. Quote, Amazon's patent application for an always-on feature for Alexa, its popular voice-activated personal assistant, has raised a lot of concern. If you're already freaked out by the privacy implications of smart speakers like Amazon's Echo, says Gizmodo, we have some bad news. A headline in Science Alert is even more direct. Newly released Amazon patent shows just how much creepier Alexa can get. You get the idea. But the anxiety is much ado about nothing. An Alexa that's always listening will likely prove more useful than an Alexa that isn't. And, in any case, always-on devices are certainly our future. Okay, hold on a second. What? Your argument as to why we should be fine with the normalization of spying devices literally in your home, listening to and recording everything you say, and sending it off to corporate headquarters as the case arises, as the case may be, we should accept that because always-on devices are certainly our future. It's our future. Can't argue with that. Well, no, I can't argue with that because it's not an argument. There's nothing there. You're just saying it's the future. In some ways, this is the most. I'm not even sure it is propaganda per se. It's not as I say, it's not an argument of any sort. It's not even pretending to provide a reason why we should accept this. It's just saying this is what will be. So you have to accept it. I mean, that really is a whole new level. That's brilliant in some ways. It's just so simple and so direct, and there are malleable minds out there who absolutely will accept that as an argument and will simply accept and swallow that. That's the craziest part of this. This op-ed goes on from there, and talks about some of the problems that people might have with this, and in fact, in an interesting way, in a way that I would almost argue. He says that, for example, Alexa, as currently configured, does not match the way people speak. The user must structure each command around a relatively formal grammar, i.e., Alexa, play this song. The information described in the patent application would deformalize the means for addressing the device, thus enabling Alexa to fit more easily and naturally into everyday life. And then it talks about how it will be listening for the wake word, and then we'll be able to buffer backward in time to listen to what you said before it. He says, it all makes a great deal of sense. Why then the concern? It seems to me there are two potential issues. One is a worry about what happens to the information from the audio buffer. Alexa currently retains recordings for a period of time, helping it to model the user's needs and wants. And this feature, which can be partially disabled, that's an interesting asterisk, has already caused privacy problems. Courts have issued subpoenas for Alexa recordings, and as Bloomberg News has reported, human beings at Amazon already listen to much of what Alexa hears in an effort to improve the algorithm. Yes, they are listening to what you say. Again, this is admitted. But no always-on feature was necessary for those recordings to survive. Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly the point. The second concern might be that an Alexa which listens more closely, responding to natural language commands, will soon become an Alexa that fades into the background. The relative formality with which the device must be addressed serves as a reminder that we are addressing just that, a device. The more casually we can speak, the more casual we will likely be about using it. We might quite literally forget that Alexa is there. Only the consumer can decide whether that is a feature or a bug. Well, thank God I'm not a consumer, so I can talk about it from the perspective of someone who doesn't have a spying device in my home, or at least not that particular spying device, and I can say that is neither a feature nor a bug. It is an Orwellian nightmare, and you cannot pay me enough to invite such a vampiric Big Brother system into my home. What ridiculous nonsense. But, hey guys, the future. It's certainly the future. Ergo, you have to have one. Again, that is the substance of this op-ed. I invite you to go and read it all. But in the end, he concludes by saying, so let's calm down. Yes, it can be fun to imagine a future in which our homes are entirely connected, and yet we're able to keep private everything we want to keep private. But that ship sailed long before Amazon decided to seek a patent on a minor and welcome change to Alexa. There almost is a point here. In an interesting way, he is actually making the point. Yeah, they are already listening to everything you do, and they don't need this patent in order to do that. So, don't freak out about the patent. Well, okay. I can actually go along with that, as long as people freak out about the fact that these devices are here and listening to everything you say anyway, right? Right? You cannot just expect us to normalize the constant surveillance of everything we're saying, thinking, and doing at all times, just because, well, it's already there and it's the way of the future. Eat that! It's the future! Again, I don't know. I'm not sure I've ever seen anything quite as blatant as this in the propaganda realm that we've deconstructed here on the program for the past year. It is almost brilliant. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll start using that. Oh yeah? Well, I think human freedom and privacy protection and technology that is not thrust down our throats is the future. That is certainly the future, so you must accept it, and you must get rid of your surveillance devices. How about that, huh? There you go. I just made the exact same argument that Stephen L. Carter did in this riveting Bloomberg op-ed, this piece of drivel. There's some interesting points in here, and I hope it launches some interesting discussion. Anyway, this is just a daily public service reminder from the Corbett Report that if you know anyone in your life with an Alexa, you might want to spend some time with that person, talking them down from the ledge, as it were, in terms of this leap into the technological nightmare that we are all being forced into, because it's certainly the future. As always, all of the links to all of these articles will be in the show notes for this edition of Propaganda Watch. I'm James Corbett of CorbettReport.com, hoping you'll join me again very soon.